This message is for you. Don't try to skip this, don't try to scroll fast, because God says if you leave this without receiving what He is speaking, you will keep crying for the same reason again and again. He sees your heart, He sees your tears, and He knows that you are tired of asking the same question: if He loves me, why does she still have power over him? God says, you are not imagining it, you are not overthinking it, you are not crazy, this is real. You feel it in your spirit because the Spirit of God has been warning you, but your heart is so entangled with hope that you cannot let go. And God says today, He is confronting that chain. He is speaking directly to your soul because this is the truth you have been begging to understand. God says, He does love you. He has feelings for you that He cannot deny. But there is another presence still lingering in His soul. There is another shadow that whispers in His ear. And God says, you must know this before it's too late. She still has power over him. Maybe not in the way you think, maybe not because he wants her fully, but because there are open doors in his spirit that he has not closed. God says there are moments when he remembers her, when he compares you, when he falls into weakness. He may deny it, he may hide it, but heaven has seen it clearly. His heart is not fully yours yet. God says this is the painful reality of love on earth. A man can tell you he loves you, and yet still carry chains from the one before. Love is not always enough to erase soul ties. Love is not always enough to break manipulation. And God says she still carries power because He has not broken free. Do not lie to yourself. Do not pretend it isn't happening. You feel it because your spirit sees what your eyes cannot. God says this message is not to crush you, but to wake you. Don't ignore this voice, don't silence it with excuses. He has not surrendered all of himself. And if you stay blind, you will be the one carrying the pain for years to come. God says she still has power over him through memories, through guilt, through the way she knows how to twist his emotions. And because he has not fully chosen freedom, he is still allowing her to influence his steps. He may try to hide his conversations, he may downplay the importance, but God says it is dangerous to ignore. God says, you must stop pretending that just because he says, I love you, it means you are the only one inside his heart. Words are not enough. Heaven sees the truth behind closed doors. Heaven knows who still appears in his thoughts late at night. And God says you cannot fight a ghost that still lives inside his spirit. You cannot compete with shadows. But God says listen carefully, this is not to tell you to run in fear, but to open your eyes. Because you are chosen, because you are loved, because you are not meant to be deceived. God says He will never let you walk blindly into chains disguised as love. This is why He is pulling you closer right now, whispering urgently into your soul, she still has power over him. Watch before it's too late. God says don't ignore the signs. The inconsistency, the moments he pulls away, the way he hides his phone, the way he sometimes looks distant. These are not random. These are traces of a battle inside his heart. He may not even fully realize how much she still lingers, but his actions reveal it. And God says, you must not give all of yourself until he is free. If you give your soul to someone who is still half-bound, you will end up broken. God says, "My child, I love you too much to watch you keep begging for scraps of attention. I love you too much to see you compete with a ghost. I love you too much to let you mistake chains for devotion." That is why I am speaking this word directly into your heart. Do not trust words when actions still reveal bondage. God says, "You are not second best, you are not a replacement, you are not meant to carry the weight of someone else's shadow. You are chosen to be fully loved, fully honored, fully protected. Do not settle for halfway love. Do not settle for a heart that is still divided. Because God says the man who is truly yours will stand before you free, whole, and able to give you everything without hesitation. God says, He is calling you to trust His warning. Don't try to fix what is not your burden to fix. Don't try to compete for a place that should already be yours if you were truly ready. God says, if he still belongs partly to her, then he does not fully belong to you. And if he does not fully belong to you, then he is not ready to hold my daughter's heart. God says, yes, he may love you. But love with chains attached is still bondage. And bondage will drain you, confuse you, and break you. God says if you ignore this word, you will end up weeping later saying, God, you showed me but I did not listen. That is why this message is not casual, it is urgent. Heaven is begging you, watch before it's too late. God says, if you let Him, He will reveal the truth in the coming days. He will show you what is hidden. He will expose conversations, He will bring out secrets, He will pull away masks. Because He does not want you deceived. But you must be willing to see. You must be willing to believe that God loves you enough to protect you even if the truth hurts. God says, don't confuse passion with loyalty. Don't confuse words with commitment. Don't confuse temporary comfort with true love. He may say you are everything, but if she still holds even a piece of his soul, then you are not everything yet. And God says, hear this, if you wait on Him, if you let Him remove the counterfeit, if you trust His timing, He will bring you a love that is pure, free, and unchained. The kind of love that does not keep you awake at night wondering if you are enough. The kind of love that does not make you compete with the past. The kind of love that will look at you and say, only you. Forever you. God says, hold on. Don't run into chains just because you fear being alone. Don't settle for half of a man when God has prepared a whole man for you. Don't let your desperation blind you to His warning. Because the truth is this, yes, He loves you. But she still has power over him. And unless He breaks it, unless He closes the door fully, you will always feel that ghost between you. God says, you deserve better. You deserve whole love. You deserve someone who chooses you without hesitation, without distraction, without shadows. That is the truth heaven wants you to hold tonight. This is why God says, don't scroll away. Don't skip. Don't ignore. Because if you do, you will walk blindly into a storm He is desperately trying to save you from. This word is not for everyone. It is for you. You know it because it pierces your chest as you read. Your spirit trembles because you recognize this truth. God says He put this message in your path because He saw your prayer, He saw your tears, and this is His answer. He loves you. But she still has power over him. Watch before it's too late. God says, listen closely, because this is critical. He says, many hearts are broken not because love is missing, but because clarity is missing. You feel the confusion now, and God says that feeling is not by accident. That confusion is the Spirit of God stirring within you, trying to make you see the truth. A man who is still under the influence of another cannot fully give you his heart, no matter how many times he says he loves you. God says, she has power over him because there are things unresolved. There are memories, emotions, even guilt that he has not released. God says, these invisible chains are strong. They whisper in the night, they sneak into his thoughts, they make him second-guess his feelings for you. And God says, you can sense it because your soul is attuned to truth. You know when something is not fully right, even if He swears it is. This is God's way of warning you, do not ignore your own intuition. It is the voice of heaven speaking. God says, don't blame yourself. Don't think that you are lacking, don't think that your love is not enough. God says, you are radiant, you are chosen, and you are meant to be deeply loved. The issue is not you, it is that He is carrying someone else inside His spirit. And as long as that door remains open, she holds power over him. God says, every time he doubts, every time he hesitates, every time he slips back into old patterns, it is her influence. It is not your fault, but it is a warning you must take seriously. God says, the danger is real. If you stay in a relationship with a man who is not fully free, you will feel drained, unseen, and undervalued. You will find yourself competing for a heart that is not entirely yours. And God says, He does not want this for you. That is why this message is urgent, that is why heaven is pressing this into your spirit. Because God's love for you is protective. His love for you is fierce. His love for you will not let you settle for a shadow when He has prepared a whole light for you. God says, you must hold the line. You must not give all of yourself to someone who cannot give all of himself. It may hurt to step back, it may feel like rejection, but God says this is not rejection, it is preservation. He is protecting your heart. He is preparing you for a love that will not leave space for ghosts. He is telling you, she may still have power over him, but you do not have to bear that burden. You do not have to compete with what is not yours. God says, this is the time to pray for clarity, not for manipulation. Pray for truth, not for illusions. Pray for His freedom, not for control. God says, when He is free from her influence, when the chains are broken, when He can stand before you without shadows in His soul, only then can love be true, only then can love be safe, only then can love be yours fully. God says, He is asking you to wait, to trust, to hold firm. And he knows that waiting feels like 1,000 knives cutting at your heart. But God says, the wait is worth it. Because rushing into someone who is still bound will cost you your peace, your joy, and your spirit. God says, it is better to be alone and whole than to be with someone and broken. God says, He is not silent. He is not distant. He is not letting this happen by chance. He is sending this word because He sees you, because He loves you, and because He will not let you be deceived. God says, pay attention to the signs, inconsistencies, hesitation, secrecy, moments when He seems distant or distracted. These are not random. They are warnings from heaven. They are messages that she still has power over him. God says, you may feel anger, frustration, even despair. That is natural. God says, do not suppress these emotions, but do not let them control you either. Feel, release, and then trust in His guidance. He will show you the path. He will reveal the truth. And when the time comes, you will see clearly who belongs fully to you and who does not. God says, He wants you to remember this above all: your worth is not defined by whether he is free, by whether he chooses you now, or by whether she still has influence. Your worth is in Him, in His love, in His plan for your life. God says, you are precious, chosen, and deserving of a love that is unshakable, unbroken, and uncontested. God says, let this sink into your spirit: yes, He loves you. Yes, there is connection. But until he is free, until she is removed from his heart, her power will remain, and your soul will carry the weight of that invisible battle. God says, do not ignore this truth. Watch before it's too late. God says, this is urgent. He says, many hearts like yours have been deceived by love that is incomplete. You may think that love alone is enough to change a man, to make him choose fully, to break the chains she holds over him, but God says, love alone cannot undo the invisible chains of the past. You can pray, you can hope, you can give your heart, but until he is free, her power over him will still dictate his choices, his moods, his hesitations, his distance. God says, do not mistake temporary warmth for total devotion. God says, your heart is sacred. He says He will not allow you to pour yourself into someone who is divided and then watch you break. He is calling you to vigilance. He is calling you to spiritual discernment. He says, do not let your emotions blind you to the reality of the situation. She still has power over him. See it clearly. Name it clearly. Acknowledge it fully. God says, your soul sees what your mind may want to deny, and that is why this message has found you now. God says, there is a subtle, hidden influence that she holds over him. It may be through guilt, nostalgia, old promises, unresolved emotions, or even manipulation that he doesn't fully recognize. And God says, until he closes that door completely, until he severs all invisible ties, that power will remain. She may not even be actively trying, but the past is strong, and God says, it has left its mark. God says, you must be patient but also discerning. Don't be swayed by declarations of love alone. Don't let words fill the void that actions cannot. God says, actions reveal the truth. When a man is truly free from someone else's power, you will see consistency, transparency, openness, and commitment. God says, watch closely. Observe what he does when no one is watching. Observe his reactions when she is mentioned. Observe whether he is fully present or partially distant. God says, this is where your spiritual armor must be worn. Protect your heart, protect your peace, protect your joy. God says, do not let longing and hope blind you to the reality that she still has influence. He says, if you protect your heart now, you will not regret it later. If you act in wisdom, you will save your soul from unnecessary pain. God says, the world may call it patience, he calls it wisdom. God says, he knows the pain you feel, the late nights of crying, the whispers of doubt, the question that haunts you, does he truly belong to me? God says, this is the voice of your spirit urging you to clarity. And clarity comes when you stop pretending the battle is over. God says, she still has power over him, and until that is broken, you cannot have full peace. God says, you may ask, how will I know when he is free? God says, the signs are unmistakable. Freedom comes with honesty, with openness, with transparency. It comes with a man who is not haunted by the past. Freedom comes with consistency in words and actions. Freedom comes with respect for your heart and boundaries. God says, until you see these signs, you must hold your heart close. God says, this does not mean you are unloved or that he is bad. God says, love is not the issue. The issue is chains, shadows, unfinished stories that need closure. And God says, he is not silent about this. He is sending you warnings, he is sending you clarity, he is sending you guidance through this message because he wants your heart preserved. God says, your love is powerful, but it cannot compete with invisible chains. God says, be honest with yourself, are you giving your all to someone who is not fully ready? Are you sacrificing your peace for someone who is still divided? God says, do not do this. Your spirit will thank you. Your heart will thank you. God says, the right love will come when the wrong attachments are removed. God says, hold fast to this truth, yes, he loves you, yes, there is a connection, but she still has power over him. God says, do not ignore this. Do not rationalize it. Do not diminish it. He says, recognize it, pray through it, and wait for my timing. God says, waiting is not weakness, it is wisdom. Waiting is not loss, it is protection. Waiting is not denial, it is preparation. God says, he is not withholding good from you. He is not punishing you. He is protecting you. He is preparing you for a love that will be unshakable, undivided, and free of shadows. He says, if you wait on me, the chains will be broken, the power removed, and you will receive what your heart truly deserves. God says, you are precious. You are chosen. You are loved. And He will not let you settle for anything less than the fullness of His blessing. She may still have power over him now, but God says the day will come when that power is gone and when your heart can be fully safe in the love that is meant for you. God says, lean closer now, because He is about to reveal the part you've been craving to understand, not just the truth about Him, but the truth about you. God says, my child, I didn't bring you to this message to scare you. I brought you here to show you how to protect your heart and how to stand in the place of dignity I created for you. God says, the first thing you must do is stop blaming yourself. Stop asking what you're lacking, stop comparing yourself to her, stop believing that if you just do more, give more, love more, He will finally let go of her. God says, the power she has over him isn't about you. It isn't about your worth. It's about His unfinished business. You cannot fix what only He can surrender. You cannot compete with invisible ties. You cannot heal a man who hasn't yet chosen to heal. God says, the second thing you must do is protect your peace. He says, guard your heart, for out of it flows the issues of life. Guarding your heart doesn't mean closing yourself off, it means being wise about how much of your soul you pour into someone who is still divided. You can love without losing yourself. You can care without becoming consumed. You can pray without being pulled under. God says, the third thing you must do is to let Him show you the signs without resisting them. He will show you if there are still messages, still secret meetings, still emotional ties. He will show you through your spirit, through sudden clarity, through things that come to light. God says, when I reveal, believe me. When I show you, don't excuse it away. Every time you excuse what I show you, you delay your own freedom. God says, the fourth thing you must do is pray, but pray correctly. Don't pray, God, make him love me more. Pray, God, free him completely, or free me completely. Pray, God, if this is not whole, close the door before I am destroyed. Pray, God, align me only with what is real, what is whole, what is safe. God says, prayers like that open heaven. Prayers like that pull down truth. God says, the fifth thing you must do is remember your worth. He says, you are my daughter. You are not a replacement. You are not an option. You are not meant to be one piece of a divided heart. You are meant to be chosen openly, publicly, fully. When you remember that, you stop chasing half-love. You stop clinging to crumbs. You stop mistaking struggle for destiny. God says, He knows how hard this is. He knows the nights you have laid awake feeling that something is off. He knows how much you have tried to convince yourself that it's all in your head. But God says, I gave you that inner alarm for a reason. That is me inside of you warning you. That is me loving you. That is me trying to save you before you are broken. God says, there is also hope. He says, I am a God who frees. I am a God who restores. I am a God who heals. If He is meant for you, if He is the one I have chosen for you, I will break her power over him. I will untie the knots. I will make him stand before you whole, clear, and committed. But if he is not, I will also free you from the attachment so that you can receive someone who is truly yours. Either way, you win if you obey me. God says, don't confuse delay with denial. Just because it hasn't changed yet doesn't mean it never will. But don't confuse hope with blindness either. Don't stay in a place that is draining your soul just because you're afraid to lose what isn't truly safe. God says, step back when I tell you to step back. Pray when I tell you to pray. Wait when I tell you to wait. Move when I tell you to move. God says, in the coming days you may see signs, a conversation you weren't supposed to see, a behavior that confirms your doubts, a sudden shift in your own feelings. God says, don't panic when this happens. It's not to harm you. It's to set you free. It's to show you the truth. It's to align you with destiny. God says, the love that He has for you will never compete with shadows. The love He has for you will never make you feel like you're losing yourself. The love He has for you will not drain you, confuse you, or divide you. God says, when it's truly from me, it will bring peace, even in the waiting. It will bring clarity, even in the unknown. It will bring honor, even in the process. God says, you are standing at a crossroads. One path is to ignore the warning and continue hoping He will change while she still holds power. That path leads to more pain, more nights of confusion, more moments of wondering why you're not enough. The other path is to trust God, to hold your heart close, to demand freedom first, and to let Him decide whether to release him or you. That path leads to peace, to truth, to protection, and ultimately to the kind of love you deserve. God says, this is your moment to choose wisdom over desperation, faith over fear, dignity over craving. He says, if you trust me now, you will thank me later. If you ignore me now, you will cry to me later. But I am giving you this word now so that you are not left without guidance. God says, He will